F&I coaching that actually sticks. The system that keeps gains permanent. You've seen this movie before. Your F&I numbers are flat. You invest and you send your manager to a hotel conference room for a 2-day event. They come back with a binder and a brand new energy. Your finance department profitability bumps, and then 60 days later, it fades. 90 days later, you're back to baseline. I've watched this cycle play out in over 200 dealerships, and I can tell you exactly why it happens. The gains fade because they were never installed. They were downloaded. The information went in, but nothing in the environment changed to make that information permanent. Without a structure to hold the gains, old habits are always going to win every single time. There's a critical distinction that the industry doesn't make, and it's costing dealerships millions and millions of dollars. Training is an event. Coaching is an installation. A training event gives your manager new information, new word tracks, new menu techniques, and new objection frameworks. They take notes, they get fired up, then they go back to the real world. That's a download. And downloads degrade. An installation is different. It transforms the process inside the store, and it stays there. A coach doesn't leave. They stay weekly. They watch for a drift. They catch problems in week 2 instead of month 3. That distinction, event versus installation, makes all the difference. And most stores are making the wrong choice. Even with a strong event, it's just the start. The event just starts the engine. The coaching cadence keeps the engine running. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value from this, hit subscribe and drop a like. It helps way more than you think. And if there's anything that I can help you with in your F&I process, just text me 206-424-9851. 206-424-9851. It's a real phone number, and I check every single message personally. All right, let's keep going. Let's break down what the event model actually costs. Most training events cost between $3,000 to $7,500. The travel, hotel, meals, now you're at $5,000 to $10,000, plus the lost production time of the finance manager. So when you add up all the expenses, it's gonna run the dealership between $8,000 and $12,000 just to send the finance manager training. Here's the pattern. Days 1 through 14, they have a ton of enthusiasm. Their per retail unit jumps. Days 15 through 45, that's the friction phase. The old habits, they start mixing back in with the new stuff that they learned. Days 46 through 90, regression. The numbers drop back down, and the binder, it's just sitting on the shelf. The regression rate, 80 to 90% of finance managers that go to a training event, they get excited, and then they just regress right back down to their average numbers that they had 90 days later. And that's not a people problem. That's a system problem. The manager didn't fail to implement, the model failed to install. I learned this the hard way. I would train stores and then I'd leave, come back in 90 days, and most of the gains were gone. Around 70% regressed. So I tried something different. I stayed. Weekly coaching, 1 hour every week, real sessions, real adjustments. I tested across 8 stores. Every single one held their gains. By day 90, the average increase per copy was $758. 6 months later, it was still there. And that's when it clicked. Training equals information. Coaching equals behavior, installation, and permanent change. There's 2 layers to this, and both matter. Layer 1, weekly coaching, 1 hour every single week, the same day, the same time. The coach reviews real deals, what worked, what didn't, and why. Then 1 fix, not 5, just 1. 1 improvement for the week. Next week, review and build. That's how momentum builds. Layer number 2, a 15-minute internal check-in, same day, every week. 3 questions. What was the biggest win? What was the toughest deal? 1 thing to improve, just 1. Then 1 focus for the next 7 days. That's it. Short equals consistent. Consistent equals results. Why this works? Micro wins stack on top of each other. 52 weeks equals 52 improvements. Each one small, but together they're massive. This is how habits become automatic. It takes 66 days to build a habit. Training covers days 1 through 3. Coaching covers the full window. Average result, $759 per retail unit increase in 90 days. 91% hold rate at 6 months. Compare that to the 10 to 20% for events. Store number 1 example. We started working with a store that was doing $1,112 a copy. Within 90 days, they got to $1,871 a copy. That produced an additional $41,745 per month month. 6 months later, the number was still climbing. Store number 2 example. The group was doing $11.73. They got to $19.87 a copy. The store made an additional $223,850 a month. $2.6 million annually. The same team with a different system. Ask yourself this: how much have you spent on training in the last 5 years? Now look at your numbers. Did they stick or spike and then fade? If they faded, it's not a coaching problem, it's an architecture problem. Your team already knows enough, they just don't have the structure. Training gives information. Coaching creates transformation. The system is simple. Weekly 1-hour coaching, 15-minute internal cadence, 1 fix per week. That's it. That's how the gains stick across 200 plus stores. A 759% increase in 90 days with a 91% hold rate. We don't train and leave. We coach and stay. That's the difference. If you're ready to build something permanent in your store, just text me. 206-424-9851. 206-424-9851. If you've made it this far, that says something about you, because most people don't. You do. You're in the top 1% of people that actually cares. Text me. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me where you're stuck. If I can help you, I will help you. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one.